Family team meetings are great opportunities to share the progress that families and children are making. Clinicians are super important at these family team meetings because every month, families change. Their relationship with the child is changing. And so it's important for clinicians to be able to share how the parent is making progress in learning to understand their past trauma and their experiences that have brought them to this place in their life where they've lost custody of their child, but also to help share how the parent is interacting with the child, what's going on there in terms of the relationship and where they're at in building a healthier relationship with their child. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't always have good news to share, but the good thing about the therapeutic relationship that's built with these families is that there's honesty and transparency. So the families aren't surprised when the clinician says, you know what, mom or dad has been working really hard, but they had a setback. And here's what happened, but here's what we're going to do to help them move along and repair that setback so that they can continue to move forward. In early childhood court, setbacks are opportunities for growth.
Because of the CPP assessment and the tools that we utilize as CPP clinician, we're able to recognize what services these families could benefit for, not just your traditional services. For example, let's say we're working with a mom that is actually intellectually challenged. The expectation for the services that we put in place and the recommendation that we're making to the judge needs to be staggered in order to best meet the need of this mom.
Helping them understand relationships, helping them understand infant mental health and how that all works together. The case manager is looking at a checklist, case plan tasks. While I appreciate that, mom has completed X, Y, and Z, let's look at the logistics around the visitation and what's been happening there, what's been happening in their placement, where they're living. All the little nuances that may get overlooked that have significant meaning, the clinician is able to bring those kinds of things up and say, listen, these little subtle things that we're observing have significant meaning, and here's what it says.
PETA is a driving tool that is recommended for clinicians in early childhood court to use as a framework, and the team also to use as a framework in decision making to inform the judge. We use the PETA to actually look to see, as the mom develop awareness into her trauma, and in the midst of developing awareness into her trauma, is she better able to prioritize safety for this child? Is she able to use the systems of care and access services? And is this mother or this father able to acknowledge what they'll do differently? Have they gained insight into what brought them here? So those are some of the things we look for when we're doing the PETA. As a clinician, one of the things that I like to do is let the team reflect on the cases so they could understand the importance of slowing down. Because even though this mom presents with these challenges, what are the underlying factors that are actually contributing to these behaviors? Are to moms resistant to services? Most moms are not resistant to services, but what are the barriers and the challenges behind the trauma that's actually hampering her from actually following through on the case plan task?
we want to demonstrate that trauma-informed approach. We want to say, hey, I hear you and I hear what you're saying. Here's why I'm feeling the way I am. Here's why I'm saying what I'm saying. So we're not adversaries of one another. We are really just listening, reflecting, and supporting the perspectives of everyone at the table, because the child welfare system is so complicated. You've got so many different perspectives, so many people that have their own lens through which they see the case. And we have to, as clinicians, be the ones to see kind of all the perspectives, validate and reflect on those, but also say, here's where I come in. I put the child in the center of the table. And while we're all talking about dad's rights and mom's rights and the statutes and the mandates, I'm putting this child right here in the middle of the table and wanting us to all think about what we're going to do as we move forward and remember that this is what's important here. This is what we're all here for.